Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has been impeached by the state's House members. So now his fate rests in the hands of the Senate in more ways than one. Paxton, for those who don't know, he was indicted 7 years ago, literally 7 years ago, never gone to trial. This was on criminal securities fraud charges. Then, about 2.5 years ago or so, he was accused by some of his own allies and some of his staff of corruption. Paxton fired some of these people. They were considered whistleblowers, so they outed him. He fired some of them resigned, and he's currently under federal investigation for the corruption allegations tied to some of this. Now, in the state, he cleared himself basically of any wrongdoing. He said, "Oh, we looked into this. My people looked into this, and I've done nothing wrong, if I do say so myself as the state attorney general." On top of all of that, Paxton was once sued by the state bar, the Texas State Bar, because of allegations of professional misconduct. So I did a couple segments about all of this, probably like 2 years ago now. And then more recently, the whistleblowers sued the government. And in February of this year, Paxton reached a settlement agreement with them for $3.3 million. Now, of course, this wasn't going to come out of his pocket. The taxpayers were going to be on the hook for this settlement because under the state's whistleblower law, if a state employee is fired for reporting a crime, they can then, as a whistleblower, come back. They can sue the government. They can sue government agencies, but they can't sue an individual. So state lawmakers have been pissed off about this since this whole thing was supposedly settled in February. And they were like, no, we're not going to do this to our constituents. We're not going to put this off on them and make taxpayers pay for this. Texas residents obviously weren't happy about this either. So it's a horrible situation for the taxpayers to be in. I feel bad for the people who didn't vote for Paxton, right? Because the people who keep blindly voting for him and returning him to office, they're the ones to blame. They've known about all of these alleged crimes for years, yet this is his third term, his third 4-year term in office, thanks to people who either aren't paying attention or they're radical extremists like him, and they just want to own the libs. So, it turns out to be another cell phone. So anyway, that brings us to the present situation. The Texas State House of Representatives hit Paxton with 20 articles of impeachment. They took a vote over this past weekend. They hit a majority. So Paxton obviously has a lot on the line because he's been using his office and his position of power to keep himself out of prison for these alleged crimes. And in getting kicked out of office, it means he would be barred from ever holding public office again. So Paxton pulled out all the stops in the lead up to this vote. He used basically the Trump playbook. He called for all of his supporters to show up at the Capitol and to protest during the impeachment vote. What does that sound like? He also called numerous Republican lawmakers before they voted, and he threatened them. He said, if you vote against me, there's going to be hell to pay. There's going to be retribution in the next election. Then, after they voted, after they successfully impeached him, he had a total meltdown on Twitter. He accused them of being, quote, corrupt politicians. He said that they, quote, demonstrated contempt for Texas voters. And then in a statement to the media, Paxton blamed, quote, liberal Republicans now in lockstep with the Biden administration, the abortion industry, anti-gun zealots, and woke corporations to sabotage my work as Attorney General. As if there's liberal Republicans in Texas. There aren't even liberal Democrats in parts of Texas. So anyway, Paxton has been officially suspended from his position because when you get impeached, you're removed, but it's a suspension. So this is temporary because, like I said, it works similarly to the impeachment process of a US president. So the case now moves to the state Senate, and they're going to hold a trial to determine if he should be permanently barred from office. So that leaves him open to these potential state and federal criminal charges. Well, Paxton's wife is one of the state senators who's going to be voting on this. So that makes this an even more unique situation. But to add to the weird situation is the fact that one of the crimes that Paxton is accused of committing involves an affair. So he is accused of cheating on his wife, and it's tied to one of these allegations against him. Paxton has been accused of bribery, and it's related to him helping this woman who he supposedly had a relationship with to secure a job. So very odd. I mean, talk about a sticky wicket, right? Sticky wicket for his wife. Now, she could recuse herself, or the Senate could force her to recuse. So we'll see what happens with that. But if 2/3 of the Senate vote to convict him, he's out. He's done. But there's another potential roadblock to making this permanent. According to Law and Crime News outlet, under Texas impeachment laws, the governor could pardon him. The governor of the state could say, yeah, I pardon you of this whole thing. Essentially, the Senate trial is conducted like a criminal trial. There's witnesses, there's evidence, basically it's like a criminal case. So this allows the governor to intervene after the fact, just as he would with any other criminal case. So, and you guys might know, if you don't, the Texas governor who would be in charge of this is another alt-right extremist, MAGA-loving, law and order hypocrite. He's just like Paxton. So this is far from done and over. Anyway, guys, I will let you know, keep you posted on what happens next. But yeah, expect the trial next, and then we'll see what happens with the governor if he folds and, truly overturns the will of the people to hold people accountable for their crimes. All right. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. It really helps to keep the show going. I really appreciate it so much. Anything you guys can do, even $1 makes a difference each month. So love you all. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.